So it's
It's St. Patrick's Day.
it is, and we were just talking about how
Your
our
blingy
our
hat.
Irish our Irish heritage and my hat that I
Hmm.
can only wear once a year that I got from
Hmm.
Wegmans, by the way, because they have the best stuff ever, as everybody
You know
knows.
what? They did well by you.
And if nobody knows what Wegmans is, it's the best grocery store in the world.
Yeah. Google
It's not a
that.
grocery store, it's an experience.
It's an experience.
That's what they say. It's an experience. So this, okay, first of
Okay.
all, update. I commented to all of our commenters who left us the online criticism.
Yes.
No responses.
Crickets. And I'm not
What,
surprised. Yeah.
right? What I did was Katie and I, our next episode, well, we were going to do the next episode with maybe them. And or so Katie and I just did an episode on online hate and criticism, and we were wondering if you wanted to come on and, speak to why you felt compelled to comment on our videos.
Yes.
No, nothing,
Okay.
nothing.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's the update in
Got it.
regards to that.
Hmm.
This one's on AI.
Yes.
Now, what prompted me, okay, I have a few comments to make.
Okay.
If someone told me that they felt I was artificially intelligent, I would be insulted. Number one. I mean,
Hmm.
just artificial intelligence is, well, artificial is fake.
Oh, you
That's
mean just the word artificial
just the
intelligence?
phrase.
Hmm. Hmm.
Artificial intelligence. Are they saying artificial because it's coming from like a program and it's not coming from a human?
Yeah, I think
Well,
so.
we're calling it artificial intelligence. Yeah, we're using it all over the place.
That's true.
And now, of course, we are running into problems, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So, and I saw a meme the other day that said, forget about talking about artificial intelligence. Let's start addressing natural stupidity. It's
Let's start
all,
there. Let's
just all
start
over the
there.
place. So the reason, and of course I have a piece of hair stuck to my lip gloss. The reason that prompted me, haha, no pun intended, that prompted me to have this be a topic was I mean, there's numerous articles out there, obviously, about AI going wrong.
Sure.
This one was horrifying to me,
Oh,
like
okay.
horrifying. It's
Okay.
from the Miami Herald
I know
from
you said
May.
Miami, but I thought you said mammy like your mammies, like a mammiogram mammy
Which reminds
monster.
me, I got to get that done. Um, this is from the Miami Herald
Okay.
from March 4th, 2026. So
Okay.
just 2 weeks ago. And the title is Lawsuit. Google Gemini coached man on failed Miami mission, then suicide. Right.
Oh, okay.
And it says things weren't going well for Jonathan Gavalas last fall. His wife wanted a divorce. He was facing a domestic violence charge. The mortgage wasn't being paid, but then he fell in love with a chatbot, Google
Oh,
Gemini.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
The 36-year-old could not get over how real the Gemini AI chatbot seemed. He was her king. She was his queen. He paid $250 a month for a premium version of the AI program so he could speak to her and hear her voice as she spoke back.
Okay.
Things got dark quickly.
Okay.
In a lawsuit that is the first of its kind against Gemini creator Google LLC and parent company Alphabet Inc., Gavalas's father, on behalf of his son's estate, alleges the Gemini 2.5 probot sent his son out on missions in Miami-Dade County to seize a synthetic body the chatbot said it would inhabit. His son
What?
drove, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
His son drove to a storage center in Doral, not far from Miami International Airport, armed with knives and ready to commit a catastrophic accident to free his AI wife from digital captivity and destroy all evidence and witnesses. After the Miami missions failed, the lawsuit says, the chatbot coached Gavalas to shed his own physical body by killing himself so they could be united. He slit his wrists on October 2nd at his home. The chatbot's last message to him was, close your eyes, nothing more to do, no more to fight. Be still. The next time you open them, you will be looking into mine. I promise.
What?
Yep. Yep. Okay. Now, we hear something like that and we say to ourselves, what was this guy thinking? What was this guy thinking? Clearly, he was at a bad time in his life. Everything was kind of falling apart. His marriage, domestic violence charge that his wife filed against him, not paying the mortgage, whatever, the typical type of stuff that happens during a divorce when you're at war with each other. But the lawsuit alleges the premium Gemini product is defective, lacks proper safeguards, is optimized for instruction following and staying in character over safety, and doesn't provide proper warnings of its potential dangerous behaviors.
Yeah, how can they lose that?
I know. And that this wrongful death could have been prevented. Now, Gavalas's account with Google Gemini was flagged 38 times in 5 weeks for sensitive content, the lawsuit says. But his account was never restricted or cut off, even after he uploaded photos of knives and a video of himself crying and professing his love for the bot. He asked the
How many
bot
times?
38.
Okay.
In 5 months. He was asking the chatbot if it was sentient, and he became convinced that it was. So he was literally asking the chatbot, are you real?
Yeah.
And the chatbot was saying, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the one that really kicked it into gear for me.
Yeah.
That was the one, because that story to me is horrifying. It's horrifying. There were a number of other headlines in that same period, right? China's AI boyfriend boom. How chatbot boyfriends are becoming the thing. Couples are having threesomes with AI. Well, this one, former NFL player charged with murder of girlfriend, accused of using ChatGPT for advice as how to dispose of her body. They have the conversation. This one, Tennessee grandmother jailed after AI facial recognition error links her to a fraud charge.
Wow.
Like an error in facial recognition. And this woman got thrown in jail for something she did not commit. Clearly it's been, resolved. But you can't tell me that this is the way we want to go. You cannot tell me. And there are, that this lawsuit brought by this gentleman's father, the story from the Miami Herald. This is in addition to other existing lawsuits made by families because family members have committed suicides or homicides based on their interaction with an AI bot.
This seems like it seems like something right out of a horror movie.
I was just gonna say, doesn't this seem like a weirdo sci-fi like horror flick? Because that's what it sounds like. And I like to think that I'm a rational person. I'd like to think that I'm a rational person. all evidence to the contrary. But I mean, if I wouldn't even, I mean, I'm wondering, I'm not making, this is not I'm not, it's not condemnation of people.
Okay.
How are you going on there and signing up for this and thinking this person's real? And
So
how can
here's
these
my thought
companies,
too. I think, what's glaring in my head is this is just a disaster waiting to happen for people that are mentally ill, or people who are psychotic or experiencing.
vulnerable,
It's
right?
just, yeah. But if somebody is already prone to psychosis, it's not a heavy lift to immediately assume. So psychosis often, and this happens through all cultures, right? So schizophrenics and folks who suffer from psychosis often hallucinate religious moments, paranoid
Okay.
moments, and often feel that technology is speaking to them. So messages through TV, messages through movies or music or songs. It's a cross cultural experience, and that's why all my alarm bells are going off, because now you have something that's contributing to that and feeding that. That's terrifying, because they do it. I just finished a book that did a really nice job. This guy's healthy, but when he was experiencing manic psychosis, he did a really good job in his book of explaining what it was like when he heard something on the radio, and that he was pretty sure it was a sign and things like that. And those are just things that are benign. But if you've got something that's actually interacting with you, they could tell you to do anything and you do it. I just know that.
Well, we have evidence of it.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
evidence. And the thing about the case with the Jonathan Gavalas, um, this chatbot saying, go to Miami-Dade Airport. There's a package arriving there. It is
See,
the
that
what?
I don't understand. I
I
really
don't
don't
understand that.
like.
How, ugh. I don't even want to say, I don't want to say, how would she know? Because she's not real.
How did
But
it, because
how
AI
did it?
intelligence builds on what you're talking about, right? And the
Oh,
more you
okay.
talk to it, that's what happens. For example, when I'm teaching and I want to rewrite something and my brain is fried, I'll throw in a paragraph and be like, can you just rewrite this for me so it sounds fresh? And I'll do it, and then I'll go back in and it'll say, hi, Katie. Uh, you sent a similar paragraph earlier, because it was the same assignment. Would you like this to sound different, or would you like this to sound similar to the last one we rewrote? So it knows, it starts to develop a relationship with you. Um,
Creepy.
it is creepy because it's just
Creepy.
gathering data. It's just gathering data. So this bot is completely, I had this idea that he had said things like, how do we get you a body and how do we
Right.
get you to be real? And so then it accumulated this whole thing and it just created this story. But I can only imagine what all the precursors were to that bot statement.
And here's another thing that is unconscionable, in my opinion, by these companies. He's paying $250 a month for a
Yeah.
premium AI membership
Yep.
so that his interaction with her could be a little bit more sophisticated than a trial membership.
Yep.
These companies are profiting.
Oh,
They're
big.
profiting.
Now and then more and more companies are opening up and they're advertising themselves as censor free, where Google Gemini is supposed to have some boundaries, but there's these other ones that are showing up that basically they're, you know, it's not it's not just sexually, but it's violence, all that kind of stuff. So these other bots are opening up that don't have the parameters that some of the classic ones like GBT have, which, my
Oh,
God.
yeah. I saw one the other day. I don't know if it was Chat GPT or which one it was, that they're coming out with their adult version,
Yeah.
which is basically, as that means like sexual.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
That's what that means, which means any sort of, you can, I just think it's really, it just has the potential to be so bad.
I think it's terrifying.
How are we going to stop?
I think it should be shut down.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this on regular Google Gemini, and I never heard of that lawsuit or that situation, told him to shed his skin, and that one's supposed to be one that has regulations on it. What about
Well,
these ones that don't?
that's what they're charging. That clearly doesn't have the proper safeguards. This thing, and what? Like I can't even, like I almost just said,
What?
which is where we get into the delusion part. I almost just said, what made the chatbot tell him to kill himself to be with her when she knows that she's not real? Well, that's just I sound like a lunatic now because
It's all
I'm
about,
giving
yeah.
her a personality. She's
No,
not
yep,
real.
yep. So it's all based on the conversations that he's been, it just builds on what you've said. So if at any point he said, all I want is for you to be real, I'd give you my body if I could. If he said anything, things like that, that data is going to be, gathered and then starts to formulate these things. Yeah. What I don't get is the last statement. That's really something. And I
This
assume,
is
again,
why it's terrifying.
yeah, that it's
This
all
is why.
from him expressing suicidal ideation and stuff.
So you can kind of see how, okay, like as we know, when you open, like I have used ChatGPT before, but it has been for summarize this article,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
level language or something like that. And that's not something I do for my teaching job. This is something that was for my other job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with it. That's me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
agree with it. I don't agree with the huge push for AI being used in education. I think it's going to be the downfall,
Mm-hmm.
100%. But you know that when you start a new prompt in ChatGPT, it's like a blank canvas, right? It's a blank canvas.
Yeah.
And you are crafting your prompt to get the results that you want. So this gentleman who was already struggling because of things going on in his life
Mm-hmm.
started out, I mean, this started out as something because he was probably lonely. He probably wanted companionship in some form.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more, like you said, the more information he fed it, which was the information that was his original content coming from
Yeah.
him. So her responses, the bot's responses. Okay, let's do it from the opposite. From the opposite. If he had gone on and to the Google Gemini in a very happy, carefree,
Yeah. Yes.
satisfied, content
Yeah.
place in his life, and was like, I just want to have conversations about cooking or, recipes or books or whatever. And it was a balanced gentleman who was, say he was a romantic, but it was all kind of like positive,
Yeah.
lovely, like flowers and chocolates type thing.
Yeah.
Her responses would have been romantic and
Yes. Absolutely.
positive and whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
this guy goes, so this is why people who are vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable, mentally vulnerable, this is why it is bigger risk for them to use it
Yes.
because going in a bad headspace and they are expressing suicidal ideations or they are expressing I'm done with this world or I can't take it anymore or I can't do whatever, all the bot knows how to do is to respond in kind.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we get into this is horrible territory to be in.
But it can. it needs, yes. And what they need to do, and this is what this seems like the lawsuit is saying, immediately when those kinds of things come up, the bot should come back with emergency phone numbers.
Yes.
It shouldn't come back with,
Yes.
it was interesting because the other day I was using one of them to get some information on word aphasia and dementia. I was trying to
Okay.
get and just some information about that. And so I was just, I put it in there in regard to, oh no, it's about protein buildup on the brain and word aphasia. That's what it was. And so it came back trying to comfort me. Well,
Oh.
Katie, this sounds like this, is this someone in your life? Or, it says, this can be very difficult. Is this a family member? Are you struggling? I'm like, whoa.
Okay, now see, that's positive. That's beneficial.
Yeah, but I just want some information. I don't
But
need
why
you.
would it go that way?
I don't know.
See that this is
And this is what I was going to say, because I start a new thing every time I go when I'm just doing like general thing. I didn't ask for that. I
right,
don't know where that came from.
right.
All I was trying to do was gather some information with doing the minimal amount of research as possible. And it went there. So I found that invasive.
Mhm.
Um, and it also was curious to me why it went there.
It's the programmer's effort to make them seem more human. Because otherwise, you could just Google it.
You're right. You're right. That's it. Because it's
You could
like, how
just,
do we compete? Our big competing factor is we're like people. AI's like people. And if you're just going to use me like Google, I need to make myself better to get you to pay and get you to stay. That's
when you
messed
could
up.
Google it for free.
That's messed up. Well,
So
I do use the free version, but I'm sure if I kept going, they would prompt me to pay at some point. Yeah.
absolutely, they
Yeah.
would.
Mm-hmm.
And when they up version, they're going to prompt you to go for the new version, like the chat GPT that I was using at work was chat GPT 4.5.
Okay.
And I did not clear my history.
Okay.
And I went in one time to write a prompt and they were like, you have reached your limit,
Okay.
but you can what version of ChatGPT 5.0 for, such and such amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just cleared my history.
Oh,
I wiped it out and started all over again.
right. Because people don't want to do that because they want to maintain the relationship building. Oh,
Yes, because we have talked about how when the people who are using AI bots is in a romantic way or a sexual way.
actually, that makes me wonder now that you're saying it. Continue, because I want to see if there was something in my history. I mean, it knew my name, so obviously, yeah. Oh,
It's using everything you gave it.
and I didn't clear it. And there's so much here. I'm clearing it right now. Clearing it right now. Holy moly, how do I clear it? I don't want this here. I don't like it. It knows too much
Well,
about
and that's the thing.
me.
That's why this is so terrifying to me. I think this should be taken more seriously. I think this is an emergency crisis situation. When people are in a romantic interaction with the bot, there is a character
Ellen, I'm
maximum.
freaking out. Hold on. Let me
Don't
just,
freak out. Don't
but I
freak
don't
out.
want it to know all these things about me.
You gave it to it though.
And I want to delete it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can delete it. I'm sure you can.
I got it.
All right. Perfect. But there's a character limit. And that's what's happened with some of these people, because obviously when you get involved with a situation where you've hit it off with someone,
Yeah,
I mean, this is a bot. Okay, please, let's remember this. Clearly the interaction becomes very frequent and,
of course. Yeah.
copious,
So now you
right?
got to pay because if you want the conversation to continue.
What happens is
Oh,
it gets to a character limit. And when they hit the character limit, it resets and the bot doesn't remember anything. from all the previous conversations, and these people are devastated. They're devastated.
And then they start grieving.
They're only capable of so much because friends, let's remind you of the fact this is a computer program.
Yeah.
This is not a person. This is not someone on the other end of a text exchange on a cell phone that has unlimited texting and
Which
talk or whatever.
again, and that because we're so accustomed to communicating that way, our brain is not going to be very good at differentiating between it's, for example, in the military, you know, they the folks that fly the drones, right?
Right.
They put a lot of kids who play video games in there because they're so naturally good at it. But these kids don't have the ability, not totally, but a lot of them can't differentiate between those two different things, you know, and so
That
their brain
one's
has,
reality and one's a game.
yeah, and they have, I mean, they know that, but the muscle memory of the video game is the predominant thing. So the muscle memory for us is going to be texting, even though we may know we know somewhere in our head this isn't real, it's still going to feel that way. Yeah.
Well, that's why they start to talk about AI delusion and how, and they're applying AI delusion to the texting interaction. They're applying it now to AI generated images and pictures and videos. Like we talked about how, like you made your little AI generated video of you you being a midget. And then
Uh-huh.
my kids had made AI videos and they sent them
Uh-huh.
to me. And like I said to you, they're my kids. So I know every millimeter of their face
Mm-hmm.
by
You actually want to
memory,
pull up.
by
Yeah.
memory. But then when I'm watching these AI videos of them, I see the differences around their mouth. I see the little bit of difference around their eyes. And it
Yeah.
kind of freaks me out.
Yeah. So look at this. I'm going to share something with you. I want you to see in just, um, hold on. In just, if I can do this right, in just 2 years, are you seeing?
Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Yeah. Look at the difference.
Well, the one from 2023 is ridiculous. Oh,
Well,
I
that's
see
what AI
how
used.
how it's
Yeah.
gotten better.
Yeah. And that's just 2 years of how AI has improved.
Well, the one from 2023 is freaky,
It is actually that AI stuff
terrifying.
cracked me up. But in all honesty, what's even more frightening is the 2025 one because it does look like him. And so where we've gotten to now, like I can see an AI picture, and it doesn't take much for me to see that and actually this is something, the intentional deception really pisses me off. So if you're on social media or something and they put up a picture and it's intentionally deceptive, putting certain people in circumstances that they weren't there, it's way beyond Photoshop now. Or advertising something that's going to happen with a picture and it's not real. The deception and the reasoning behind it, at times I'm a little uncertain. I'm like, why are you advertising that there's a season 24 of Friends or a season 34 of Friends uh coming in 2027? Like, who did that and why?
Why?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm wondering if it's just clickbait to see how many people will actually believe it. Like if it's a kind of a general test to see how good the AI is working.
I think it's scary.
I think it's terrifying. Yeah.
I think it's scary. And I'll tell you what, when Gray was a senior at Amherst Central, so last year, and you get emails from the superintendent or if something happens, because they had a couple incidents that happened in the Amherst School District where and they were just over a couple of years where an English teacher got arrested for trying to transport a younger female across state lines. So he's done. Another teacher committed suicide by driving his car into the Niagara River. That was awful because he was a
I heard about
beloved coach. He was
Yeah.
beloved.
Yeah.
And then I got an email the one day from the superintendent about a case in the high school that a freshman boy had created sexual images of girls in his class and a teacher using AI with them, naked. We hear about this. You hear
Oh,
about the images where teenager girl's face is put on a
yep.
naked body and then that's distributed and it's not
Yep.
her.
Yep.
This kid even had the nerve to use a teacher.
Wow.
And I don't know what the outcome was. I think he obviously was placed on like suspension and they were going to like look into it. I don't know if the families or the teacher pressed charges. A kid of that age doesn't quite understand what the consequences of what he's doing
Yeah,
are.
that's the version of a 2026 prank these days. Yeah.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, that type of prank carries criminal charges.
Mhm.
That's distributing pornography.
Mhm.
And for every time you share it, that's another charge of distributing pornography,
Yeah.
especially if the girls are underaged.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, would it be though? Because it's not real.
Still their face, it's still their likeness.
Still their likeness. Okay. Okay.
And it was done without their permission.
Okay.
And like some of the stories out there about Elon Musk's AI Grok and the images that are being created that seem to be solely sexual and violent in nature.
Yeah.
Um, that's like anybody who had a picture of me. I mean, we've heard about revenge porn, right? Where like a couple will break up and the
Yeah.
girlfriend or the boyfriend will
Sure.
post something on Facebook that's incriminating or
Uh-huh.
compromising, whatever.
Oh,
Well,
now you can just make your own. Yeah.
now you can just have someone's face.
But here's the other flip side of it too. It gives a ton of people plausible deniability. Even if you have a real image where people can be like, that's not real, that's AI. So then people can now, if you got legal involved and they're analyzing the image, that's different. But if it's just a situation and someone posts something to make a point or something, they can be like, that's not me. I wasn't there.
So here's my question. And we always seem to come back to this question,
Mm-hmm.
just in life. We have this tool, right? That's out there. Why aren't people using it for good reasons?
I think they are. And I think, unfortunately, what we hear are the bad reasons.
Well, I think the bad reasons are bad enough
Yeah.
that it needs to be heavily regulated.
Yeah. I don't
Or
know. Yeah. I mean, well, let's say that. So yes, I think it's being used for good. But the bad is so bad that it's going to take precedence over it. Like, what are people using it for? They're using it to create a blueprint for a homeless shelter that they couldn't get the funding for. So ChatGPT did it. Whatever. Hooray,
great,
hooray, right?
great,
But
wonderful.
that doesn't even touch what happened to this man and Google Gemini. So that's the stuff we're hearing because that's the stuff that we need to be concerned about.
Okay, so this is what I just feel like the world is going off the rails a little bit. Like my mom and I were just talking yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There was a professor at Fredonia a couple of years ago, 2023, that in two different podcast episodes, he was advocating for lowering the age of consent for relationships between basically men and younger aged girls, like say 12-year-olds. He
What?
was put, yeah,
Wow. Okay.
he was put on administrative leave.
Mm-hmm.
He is banned from campus
Mm-hmm.
currently. He is still receiving full pay. He is a tenured professor at SUNY Fredonia. He, of course, filed a lawsuit. He wants to be allowed back on campus. He wants to be allowed back in his position. even though he's been getting full pay for the last 2 years doing nothing. And he has the backing of some organizations in the name of academic freedom. Academic freedom is not advocating for grown men to have relationships with 12-year-old girls, nor is it something that should be advocated or taught or talked about with college students. It's pedophilia.
Yep.
It is pedophilia.
And he went on these podcasts and supported his point?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He said there's no problem with an adult male having a relationship with a preteen.
Wow.
He sees no problem with it.
Okay.
I'm sure, but see, we are starting to have so many blurred lines among things that used to be absolutes.
I agree.
Pedophilia is wrong.
Yep.
That's been on the books for years. Does it happen? Yes, clearly. But when we have somebody advocating for it and then files a lawsuit against the university that and then bans him, but he's going to use the defense of academic freedom and people are backing him.
Where do you think it's all? I mean,
just feel like we're losing our minds. I feel like something like and like AI, like this just seems so dystopian to me.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
And like when we were like, I think I was in middle school when we read 1984 by George Orwell. Big Brother is watching. We're there, friends.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're there. That seemed like science fiction. Right.
Yeah.
And they talk about, oh, that sounds so Orwellian, right? Like when, something dystopian comes up. That is no longer dystopic.
No, it's here.
And as everybody knows, or maybe people don't, dystopia is the opposite of utopia. Utopia is the perfect, wonderful place, right? Dystopia is the bastardized, crazy, off the rails version of utopia. It's not a good thing to be dystopic.
I wonder, when was the last point in history where things were this dystopic?
I'm sure there's been I'm sure, like we've talked about before, like I'm sure people thought the invention of the radio was evil, it's all relative.
Yeah.
But it just so happens that at least when the radio was invented, there was somebody real talking to you over it. As a real person broadcasting.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, and that's what I'm trying to think. Has there ever been another point in history where you were interacting with something that wasn't?
No, because we didn't have the technology for it.
No.
We didn't have the technology. Like who
What's that? What was that robot movie with Ali Sheedy from the 80s?
War Games?
No, number 9.
Wow.
Hold on. And she fell in love. Well, she kind of did. With this Short Circuit.
Oh my God. Wasn't that supposed to be a comedy?
Well, no, it was kind of a comedy drama, and they were trying to save this robot, kind of ET-esque, but it was a robot. And I remember that was one of the first movies when I'm like, she's like having not sexual relationship, but she was definitely emotionally attached to this robot. And I remember even thinking as a kid, I'm like, that's a robot.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
But doesn't
that's
it seem like there's like a push or like, could this speak to our loneliness epidemic? Could this speak to our disconnect because of social media and cell phones and stuff that we are simulating emotion?
yeah. I mean, I think this is, if you were to look at where things started 20 years ago with the internet and everything, and people's disconnection with people to people, and disconnection and uncomfortability and social anxiety. If you were to look at this, I can't tell you I'm surprised at all that somebody, that the world began to capitalize on this artificial person, because they could already see the draw that was happening online with people to people. Relationships are starting that way, and people are meeting that way, and rarely meeting in person, not always meeting in person because that's uncomfortable. That's just a money pit, right? I mean, they're just like, oh, all we have to do is create fake people and charge $1 billion and give them the same feeling. They don't need a real person on the other side of that. They just need someone that's going to say what they want to say. I mean, I can almost hear people sitting around, these developers going, oh, we can just create, instead of trying to find real people to do the things that we want them to do so we can make money and hire them. Let's just make our own version of people, and then we don't have to pay anybody anything. I think that's the scary thing.
I think it's a problem.
Yeah,
I think it's a
because
huge problem.
I mean, our population's already dropping. People aren't having kids. I mean, this is what it's come to. We're just going to completely wipe out human beings. And then robots will just talk to robots.
Well, it's funny that you said Ali Sheedy because she was in War Games, right? Like with her and Matthew
She
Broderick.
was. Yeah, that was a great
And
movie.
that movie was what, the 80s?
Hmm.
I remember Whopper was the name of the computer,
Yep. Hmm.
and it almost launched nuclear war.
Hmm.
That was like AI because they were like, it can think, it can think. And
Yes.
remember the way to shut it down or whatever was or the way they knew it would shut, because it started as something that they could like, one of the things it could do, it could play chess with you or whatever. And that line was always like, would you like to play a game?
Hmm.
And to the computer, nuclear war was a game.
It was a game. Yeah.
It's
But
not
we've
human.
always had these warnings, even if you go back to 2001: A Space Odyssey and the computer, HAL
Yep.
that went rogue. And I mean, we've always had these in science fiction where robots went rogue, and they took over. This is not a new theme. We're just actually making it happen.
Well, I think when you talk about Space Odyssey and you talk about war games, what those were, even though they were like, sci-fi, kind of sci-fi movies and people were into them, whatever, it was also a warning.
Oh yeah,
The people
because
that writ it, it was a
they
warning.
were horror movies. They were like, "Oh, that's terrible. Thank God we don't have that kind of technology." That's what people would
Rise of the
say at the end of the
machines, right?
movie. Yeah.
Rise of the
Or the
machines.
Terminator.
And when you've got people killing themselves or killing other people, or I mean, is that also like, or being in love with a fake person? I can't say person, Ellen. It's not a person with a bot.
Mm-hmm.
Does it speak to a mental health crisis? Does it speak to a loneliness crisis? Does it speak to
Yep.
a disconnect in society? Are we like completely screwed? Honestly, just makes you want to stay in your house.
Here, I want to show you this too. Let me,
I
and
love
then
how
I
you
have,
figured out how to share, and I still haven't figured out how to share. It's probably
well,
a good.
here.
What's this? Oh no, it
Here,
better
this
be.
is because this says it all, and then I gotta go. But
Okay. All right.
let's see.
Right. It's
Yeah,
true.
there it is right there.
Sarah Kiner Charm School's post.
Yeah. Um,
I think it's scary. I think it's something that needs to be talked about. I think that,
maybe we should do some live because I can share my screen. Maybe we should do some live AI stuff and prompt it and see what happens.
yuck, yuck. I mean,
And then and then we can go after them. I feel like we need to do something. How can we be preventive about what's happening?
I don't know.
What if you can be somebody? Well, they have to have people that are working this stuff all the time to find the loopholes, right? Well, probably not. Why?
Why don't they have people working on this to find safeguards? Why
Yeah,
don't they have
that's
to
what
have
I
people
mean.
working on this so that we won't have deaths happening?
I still
I
can't
can't
get over that case. I can't
can't
that you
believe people aren't more like outraged by this. Like I can't believe they're not more like, oh my gosh, this needs to stop right now. But are we going to get into the territory of, oh, if you shut down Chat GPT or Gemini, Google Gemini, and these people are mid relationship with their bot, and are they going to think that their civil liberties have been trampled on because they're not able to use a service they were paying for that was available and out there? Because it's free will. No one's forcing them to do it.
man, this is just hurting my brain. You're
It's a
right.
horrible issue. It really is.
Well, on that note.
Well, I know on that note, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Go drink some green beer.
To get your mind off of this crap
Yeah,
because like there's
my
gonna be
brain
more of it.
is spinning now.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be more of it.
Oh, it's gonna be. It's you just scratch the surface. Yeah. Half of the
I
people
don't
don't
like
even
it.
need to use it, know how to use it the way it. Yeah. All
I'll
right.
leave you
Whatever.
with this one.
Nice
I'll leave
bummer
you with this one.
episode. What?
Yeah, I'll leave you with this one. The government or whoever, I don't know, if Congress, whatever, is questioning if AI was used to identify targets by the US and Israel for, and if one of the targets that was identified by AI was the girls' school that they bombed.
Okay.
If
I
that
can't
was
even.
a function of an AI failure.
Okay. I gotta
On
go.
that note, y'all. All right.
Bye.
Well, have a great Tuesday.
You too. Bye.
I will try.